I'm going to be going through 3 tips today. These tips are just ones that I follow personally ever since I've done a lot of challenges, but especially in Inktober or when I've attempted to do challenges. So the 3 tips that I'm going to be talking over in this video are picking your art supplies, picking what prompts you're going to follow, and the last one is deciding on planning and time allocation. So Inktober was something that was created in 2009 by someone called Jake Parker. Originally it was just something that he made for himself so he could improve his art skills, and then as it went on it became a huge place that artists all wanted to take part in, and it's something now that it goes on every year in October. Originally it was focused on just using ink, but over the years obviously it's evolved, it's taken its own path. People do digital, some people even do 3D, and people add colour if they want to as well, or sketch lines. It's really just taken a form of its own. Settle on what supplies that you're going to be using for Inktober. So for me, I 100% know that I'm going to be doing digital full on out. This is just because I know that in my future I want a career in digital art. So I want to spend more time focusing on digital art than opposed to traditional art. But now that I know that I'm going to be picking digital art, I can take it a step further and even select what brushes I'm going to be using. For instance, do I want to stay at least somewhat true to the originality of this Inktober and use ink brushes, or just full on go out paint brushes and just focus purely just on learning more about digital art. So that's something I would be thinking about as well. So what I'll do is I'll go through these brushes and sort of figure out which ones I like and start to build up ones that I know I might use or definitely avoid. This is so that when Inktober starts up, you're not worrying about what brushes to use and not to use. You've already set aside which ones you're going to use. When it comes to colour, according to the rules, they're not really tight on this. It's more so just what you would like to do. For me personally, I'm not too sure if I'll use colour. It's something I'm going to be figuring out today. I might use pops of colour, or I might change the line art colour if I feel that it will suit the final piece overall. Otherwise I probably won't be adding a lot of colour into my pieces. This is mainly because I want to focus on improving my drawing ability overall, rather than colour for instance. But if your main focus over Inktober is to focus on your colour theory, then absolutely go for it. Use a variety of colours so that you can improve your colour theory and understanding. And tip number 2 is deciding what prompt list to follow. So what I mean by this is that there's a variety of prompt lists that you can follow out there. There's the main one of course from the Inktober website that's put up every year, but over the years a lot of artists have also made their own prompt lists, which I found really interesting. And personally for this year I want to try that out. So I think instead of following Jake Parker's prompt list, I'll be creating my own, and I've created a few this time because I'm not really sure what to do, and I'm just going to select the one that I like the most. Or if you don't want to restrict yourself to one prompt list, you can even do like a sort of mix and match as days come. For instance, I struggle to get inspired with certain prompts for a specific list. If that's the case, I'll do like a mix and match to help me keep that motivation and inspiration alive and running through the entirety of Inktober. Something I seen another YouTuber doing named, I want to say Leachits, I'm so sorry if I'm saying that wrong, Leachits, is that she wanted to focus on cars. So for each prompt of each day, she just made sure that they tied into cars because she wanted to focus on improving her like ability to draw mechanical things, and I thought that was really interesting. So for instance, if you want to focus your prompts on character design or a character you've created or environment design, it seems like the perfect option to do that, and just with every environment or character sort of like tying it back into the prompt for each day. tip number 3 is deciding on the amount of time you want to allocate to planning and your final piece. It's best to figure out beforehand how much planning time you want to give yourself each day for Inktober. For me personally, I won't have much spare time because of university, so I know that I want to make sure that it's a reasonable amount of time, that I'm not overworking myself. So I will probably be limiting my time I spend each day and ultimately the planning as well. But if you have much more free time and you want to increase this, then by all means do so. Of course, there will even be days where you have even less spare time than usual, and in this case you may want to have less planning time or just cut the planning entirely and just focus on the final piece. Or there may be times where you have way more free time and you'll want to really spend that day focusing on that prompt and developing it overall. But I think it's an important factor in this so that you're not overworking yourself and draining yourself before you are even halfway through Inktober. After all, you want the challenge to be enjoyable and an opportunity to learn and practice, not a challenge that feels like it's draining you and that you aren't getting anything positive out of it. I think this is something to be aware of throughout the Inktober challenge as well. It's best to check in with yourself every so often, and if you feel like it's not challenging enough, then maybe up the time that you're spending each day on it. And if you feel like it's too much for you and that you're really starting to crash, limit that time each day so it's easier for yourself and that you're not going to overwork yourself too much, and that you can then get through the whole of Inktober. I think for me, after consideration, I'll allocate to myself approximately 15 minutes for planning and then 1 hour for the final piece, for a total of 75 minutes. The reason for this is like a nice sort of middle ground for me. It's not too much time or not enough time. It's like, it is just on the cusp of being not enough time, which will really just help me like push out ideas for the prompts each day and then get a final piece down. It even means if I was to go 15 minutes over or half an hour over, it wouldn't be that big a deal. It's more just so how the day feels for me, how much time I feel like I can put on this project. And then for the days where I don't have uni at all, I could just focus as much time as I wanted to if I wanted to. So that is the 3 main points that I personally follow when I'm doing challenges such as Inktober. So picking your supplies, deciding what prompt list you're going to follow, if it's going to be one or multiple or your very own, and then figuring out your planning and time allowance that you're going to provide yourself. I hope that there was something useful in today's video for anyone watching. If you have any questions at all about any of the video, please just comment below and I'll get back to you. And also as well, if you have your own tips as well that you want to share, by all means comment them down below. It's the first time like filming myself, so it's a little bit like daunting. I just hope that this video was like full of like information that can be helpful for you. And just remember that Inktober is meant to be fun. It's meant to be challenging, of course, but also still fun. Just don't be too hard on yourself. If you feel like it's too much, definitely back off a little bit and make it a little bit easier for yourself. And likewise, if it's too much, if it feels like it's not enough, then give yourself a little bit of an extra challenge. I know sometimes you can see what other people are doing online and they're doing so much, but it's important to remember that their life is different from yours and that they're maybe a full-time artist or they have more spare time, and as such they can bash out a lot more, and sometimes it feels like, you know, really, why am I not doing what they're doing? How am I not doing that much? But we're all going through our own journey in life, and all our journeys look different. I mean, sometimes I'll have a great day drawing and other times I don't want to even pick up my iPad. Like, I just want to throw that thing out the window. So I think, yeah, just remember, like, you're only seeing a small portion of some people's lives, and sometimes it looks amazing and like they're doing everything perfect, but behind the scenes there's so much more going on. It's just really important to remember that for yourself so that you're keeping your mental health in check. I really hope that today's video was helpful for you, and that you enjoyed it. If you did, feel free to give it a like, and if you want to see more content like this, then subscribe to the channel. I try and make new videos for every Monday, but sometimes it's every second Monday while I'm at university. And I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. Bye!